Hey guys, Trevor here with Grain Free Me, Fremont, Nebraska. July 10th, I guess. And wanted to do, I don't know, diary update kind of video tonight. A lot of stuff going on. And I don't know, it's been kind of a crazy last few days. Um, and I struggle with this every single day. I've dealing with the MECFS and the celiacs and the HFI, being part of the groups, and over the years, it just seems like every single group that I ever tried to be part of, I got kicked out of. At some point, I need to talk about that and bring that into reality. I've watched this for years now. These groups that they're basically nothing but propaganda, snake oil salesmen. And I've really tried to nail that down on my website. That, for starters, look, gluten free does not equal celiac, gluten intolerant, wheat allergy safe. I hate that. I absolutely, at this point in my life, hate that aspect of gluten free products. And there's a lot of people in my area that advertise almost daily gluten free. I've said it before in other videos. Look, gluten free does not equal celiac safe, it does not equal diabetic safe. And if you're, celiac and diabetic at the same time, but it's like, I had an earlier conversation on Facebook talking about the fact that I can't find chocolate chips because I wanted to work on some sweets and treats, healthier versions. And I can't find chocolate chips that don't have soy lecithin, wheat, cornstarch, bunch of different bad ingredients. And so I researched. I'm like, okay, could somebody make a healthier version of chocolate chips or chocolate chunks? It doesn't matter. It was just, how can we work a little bit of this into healthier recipes? And we're dealing with the fact of the cocoa. Let's put it that way. The cocoa chocolate chips, chocolate in general, is from what I researched tonight, in a really bad situation. That chocolate manufacturers are having to just dump whatever they can into everything to keep it, can't even call it affordable. So I only found like one or two producers right now that didn't have a lot of extra crap in it. For me growing up, it was like dark chocolate. You had, 75, 85% cocoa powder and cocoa butter. And now the only few safe versions that I can find are 50, 60%. So it makes the recipe testing really difficult at this point right now with what we can do. And I'm doing my best to figure out, okay, how can we do this? Because for me, the ease of getting ingredients. Can you get this at the local grocery store? Can you get this through Amazon? I never thought that cocoa, chocolate chips would get this difficult to find, but that's what we're dealing with right now. And that, I've said it before, I can't make recipes for everybody. This might be one of those recipes that I just have to take off the books, but I'm trying. So I've got 7 bags of, I can't remember the name. It's coming through Whole Food Market on Amazon. Good Life or something like that. Can't remember the actual name. But either route, it was the most affordable aspect that I could get in. And hopefully things will change down the road. We'll get back to kind of a normal thing. But right now there's just so much stuff. So much fillers, preservatives, and junk going into dark chocolate that I can't recommend any of that stuff. And it sucks. So here's where we're sitting tonight. I went out and dumped $200 at Aldi's into a lot of different things to try out in the next couple of weeks, because we're in a heat wave here, and I don't know what else to do. I can't get out and work in the shops. I can't. I wish I could, but I'm just kind of stuck on the food aspect here for the next couple weeks, maybe the next month, until the weather cools down a little bit. So I don't know. I've got like 20 different recipes to work on here in the next few weeks while this heat wave goes through. I was looking at peanut butter cookies and chocolate chip cookies and all of the cracker recipes that I'd been thinking about for the last couple of years, and using the different chaffle makers that I've picked up. I was also thinking about hollandaise sauce and getting back to the ranch dressing and a lot of the spice mixes that you just can't find a safe version of. So it's going to be a rough couple of weeks here in Fremont with the weather. So there's a lot of recipes out there that don't have any kind of gluten or and it's frustrating for me because I have to look at every single medical condition. So, you know, and I don't think I've ever said this before. If you have celiac disease or a grain sensitivity or peanut allergy or something like that, it's not that hard to find recipes out there that fit into your dietary restrictions. The problem is that people don't want, they don't understand it. Doctors don't explain it enough. And so you get people that are grain sensitive, not just celiac. They're grain sensitive. And you go to a dietitian and they're going to push you on gluten-free products. Hey, this is gluten-free, so it's celiac safe. Well, you also have diabetes and you're 100 pounds overweight. A dietitian isn't going to argue with you on that part. Parents aren't going to argue with that either because they just want to stay in the lane and eat what everybody else is eating. I hate to bring this up and talk about it, but you know, a couple of the recipe testers that I was hoping to work with, that I've been buying equipment for and ingredients for, they just don't understand. They've never looked at my website. That probably, and my family members too. You know, it's not just people I'm trying to find to work with, but how do you work with someone that has never looked at your everything that I've put together on my website? It's really hard for me because it's like, how do I make this simpler? Because this information has been out there for a long time at this point. I've given people my, I made a business card that just had everything: website, YouTube videos, etc. And I've encouraged people, you know, hey, if you want to work with me, go look at all this stuff. People just don't do it. I've said it in other videos, it's like, oh, people have all this time for crazy cat videos and all this other stuff, but they don't go look at what I've put together. It's taken me all these years to put this together, and people just don't do it. I could go the completely typical route. I could start a group and tell people I could cure all of their issues if they just spent $99 a month. I could probably be a millionaire in a few weeks, but morally, I can't do that because I know that's BS. So I'm trying to figure out tonight where to go from here. It is so hard. And I've talked about it before. Lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And I'm just here trying to help people, trying to share my experiences and my knowledge. But there was an aspect tonight talking about, because I asked, I can't go out and hit up every single grocery store in Fremont. And this issue with chocolate is ridiculous. So I found a couple of producers. Nestle Toll House does have a dark chocolate chunk. I couldn't find any dark chocolate chips. I'm looking for cocoa powder, maybe some sugar, it's fine, and cocoa butter, an actual dark chocolate that I can use for some of my future recipes. No soy lecithin, no sunflower lecithin, no wheat flour, no cornstarch, no high fructose corn syrup. 3 ingredients. And everything I'm seeing online is saying, well, formulas change, we can't post ingredients. Well, I looked at it in the other aspect of, well, is this a recipe that a disabled person could create themselves? No, it really isn't. And I'm trying to keep all of my recipes affordable. Someone popped in and was like, oh, well, I saw a recipe with butter, honey, and cocoa powder. Great. And then they came back and said, well, I'm trying to get away from sugar. What is honey? I mean, I get frustrated, and I just, there are days I just want to throw in the towel, but at some point, I hope that if I do these videos, maybe somebody else will understand what I'm trying to do. Honey is not a safe option. Maple syrup is not a safer option. They're sugar. In most cases, they're fake and they're high fructose corn syrup with flavoring. You're better off just, if you want to get away from sugar, you have to get away from sugar. No honey, no maple syrup, no agave syrup, no palm kernel oil, no palm oil. I don't know why that is so hard to explain to people. Sugar is sugar. Maybe I have not said that enough in my website. Maybe I have not said that enough in my videos. So I'm saying it tonight. I needed to get this off my chest. And I posted on my Facebook page tonight. I can't get out and go to every single grocery store. So if you guys can get out and find a dark chocolate chip or chunk or bar, I don't really care, that is just cocoa powder, maybe cane sugar, and cocoa butter. No soy lecithin, no extra sugar, etc. I would really appreciate it if you guys could let me know where to find it, what it costs. Because the only dark chocolate options that I have found was like $1.50 an ounce, and you had to buy it in a 10-pound bag or a 10-pound box. Now, if the guild and the community page was completely up and running, maybe that would be doable. But $1.40 plus an ounce is that's hard for people to pay that much for a couple of cookies or whatever. I'm still working on all of this. I looked into, with the flat top chaffles I'm working on. So much better than the typical, being able to have a flat top. And then now, trying to figure out if I could do a biscuit or English muffin type of thing. It would be great if and I've said this before, I'll say it again. It would be great if I had some people to work with. But just getting people to like, subscribe, and share, join the Facebook page, go over and look at the grainfreeme.com page, the medical library, the recipes that I want to build over the next couple of years. I don't want to be that snake oil salesman, miracle cure, crabs in a bucket type of group on Facebook or anywhere else. And I just won't do that. So it really at this point comes down to all of you guys. Do you want to, for what you might spend on those type of groups and their miracle cures, you could buy the equipment buy the ingredients, start a cottage food business, and be part of the community and guild. Yeah. When you actually step into that aspect and think about it, you might start understanding why I'm doing this video tonight and why I'm so just flat out frustrated with all of it. And you could be part of it. You know, you could be part of the group. You could be helping hundreds, thousands, millions of people by taking that chance. So we'll see where this goes. Again, not my typical thing to vent about this kind of frustration, but I have to. I have a limited amount of energy and I have a limited amount of time, and I hate to say it, but I'm just sick of the misinformation and propaganda and competing against the big food companies that are just making people sicker and sicker. I'm sick of the support groups that do nothing but hurt other people. So, you know, like Kraft macaroni and cheese. That one's on my Facebook feed 20 times a day, no matter how many times I block it. Can't get rid of it. Domino's Pizza was on my feed nonstop today. No matter how many times I blocked it, Domino's was still popping up every other post. Sick of this crap. We need to change that. So, only way I can do that is, I guess, you know, doing what I'm doing. Calling it out. Hope you guys are doing okay. And I hope you guys can survive the heat wave. It's going to be a long summer, guys. So let's try to work on some recipes together. And for those of you out there that can't work on recipes, there's other ways that you can contribute. You know, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. Social media and community takes a lot of work. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Become part of this. Cottage food producers, spice mix makers, etc., etc., etc. But you guys gotta get involved. You guys gotta, you know, comment, like, share. Go visit the website. Read through the medical library. I dump so much energy into all of this. And it blows my mind that people don't go look at any of it. It'd blow your mind. Not going to say sorry for the rant because I needed to have this rant tonight. Really did. And again, can lead a horse to water, can't make them drink. And some people you just can't help. Signing out. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully with a couple of new recipes or whatever. Till then, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys survive this next few weeks of heat. Till then, take care. Signing out from Fremont, Nebraska. Trever here with grainfreeme.com.